All right, you want to know why people are moving to Portland? You want to know why people are leaving Portland? Follow me around the city today and we're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned. Hey, what's up everybody? This is Paul Clem with the Oregon Relocation Team coming to you from Portland, Oregon. And in this video, we're going to talk about some of the things that attract people to Portland and to the metro area, and also some of the things that are driving people away. So these are some of the typical pros and cons that you hear about living in Portland, living in the Pacific Northwest too. Now, if this is your first time to the channel or you've been here and you haven't already and you want to get more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. We've helped a ton of people relocate to Portland and move to the Portland metro area. And as real estate professionals, we love to help with that process. So if that's you, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video. Schedule a Zoom call with us and we can talk about your move. All right, hands down, one of the biggest reasons people move to Portland and move to the Portland metro area is because of the natural beauty. All the green spaces like we have, like Forest Park, like I am here today, all the parks, but also all the nature that you have in Oregon. You know, within an hour, 2 hours drive, you can get to the coast, you can get to the mountain, you can get to all kinds of state national forests, did I just say forests? National forests, state parks, things like that. Rivers, lakes, again, mountains, the ocean. There's so much to do, so much to get out and see outdoors. Now, on the flip side of that, we have objectively bad weather. Now, of course, it's going to take a lot of rain to create a luscious rainforest like we have. Again, you know, I'm just a couple of minutes from the city, you know, from downtown Portland right now. And you have areas like this all throughout the West Hills and all throughout Portland, really, where you can get out and hike around. It's going to take a lot of rain to keep these areas green and lush, but you have to live with the rain and you have to live with cold, dreary weather for a lot of the year. Portland gets about 150 days of sunshine on average. Now that's really going to vary because you're going to have warmer years and days with more sunshine. You're going to have wetter years, more gray, more overcast. So it really is going to vary from year to year, but objectively, again, you know, the weather is something that we are up against all the time. So we have all these awesome parks and green spaces that you can get out and access and hike around, but not everybody wants to get outside in the pouring rain. It's not going to be necessarily accessible year round. So the nature and the beauty is definitely one of the biggest reasons why people are moving to the area, but the weather is for sure one of the biggest reasons why people are leaving. All right, another great thing about living in Oregon is that we have no sales tax. So as a lifelong Oregonian, that's definitely something that I've taken for granted. I've noticed traveling other places, you know, that extra little bit added to the bill always comes as a little bit of a shock. So I would imagine anybody moving to Portland or moving to the Portland metro area is going to notice at least a little bit of relief on their bill. All right, now on the flip side of that, Oregon has one of the highest state income taxes in the country. So some places don't even have a state income tax. So depending on where you're coming from, that really could come as a big shock. So not having a sales tax and having a pretty high income tax, you could say it's a wash, depends on your spending habits, depends on how much you're earning, but I would say in most cases, you're probably spending a little more in income taxes than you're saving not having a sales tax. All right, so hear me out on this one. One of the things that makes Portland a great place to live is the culture overall is very welcoming and very accepting. I think there's really kind of an attitude of live and let live. Oregon in of itself has always had a little bit of a libertarian streak. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I think at least in part that reflects a culture that is overall, you know, welcoming and friendly. A lot of people who we work with who are relocating from places all around the country, you know, they come and visit Portland and they say, wow, everybody was so friendly. For the most part, I think that's true. I think just like anywhere else, you know, there's you know, people who aren't friendly, people who, you know, are maybe rude or less welcoming, but you know, there's jerks in every bunch, right? But on the flip side of that, I think, you know, maybe part of that attitude has led to some of the issues that you see Portland have today, in particular as it pertains to homelessness and crime and things that come along with that. I mean, there's obviously a ton of issues. I think there's no easy way to look past it, and certainly can't ignore you know, just driving around the city, whether that's downtown or in the surrounding areas, you know, in the city, some of the neighborhoods on the east side, for example. I mean, you see things like tents. I mean, it's very obvious that there are people living in extreme poverty, or, you know, in a lot of cases are homeless. So on one hand, Portland might be a place that is, you know, very accepting of pretty much any type of lifestyle that you would want to have. Overall, generally very friendly people. You know, maybe that has over time led to letting an issue in terms of, you know, the circumstances in which people are forced to live, you know, letting it get to the point where, you know, these people don't have enough resources, these people don't have enough help. I mean, you know, I could go on, and you know, I'm not here to make any kind of political statement, certainly not here to offer a solution, because I definitely don't have one. It's obviously a very complicated issue, but who knows? I mean, you know, maybe the future is bright. All right, so Portland is a relatively small city, and even the metro area, it's pretty easy to get around. So if you lived out in Beaverton, or if you lived in Happy Valley or Oregon City, or wherever it may be in terms of suburbs, or somewhere in Portland proper, it's going to be pretty easy to get around. It's going to be pretty easy to get from place to place. You know, 15 minutes into Portland from just about any close-in suburb, maybe 25-30 minutes tops from some of the surrounding more outlying suburbs. But the traffic in Portland is awful. And despite being not the largest city in the country, I mean, not the most populated city in the country, we had a pretty big population boom over the past 25 years or so. So the infrastructure is not necessarily there to support all of the people that are here. But either way, I don't know if it's bad drivers or not enough lanes on the freeway. I mean, the traffic is really pretty bad, in particular during rush hour time. So there's a lot of convenience. I mean, you can get around Portland and around the metro area really pretty easily, but the traffic can be awful. So you definitely take the good with the bad on that one. All right, Portland, Oregon is home to some of the best food in the country. Portland is routinely ranked on top 10, top 5 lists for best foodie cities in all of the US. I mean, we have great breweries, really good cocktail bars, really cool bars and entertainment, nightlife, live music venues. There really is a lot to do. There's really a lot to get out and consume. But Portland is a city of neighborhoods. So we were downtown a little bit earlier. We talked about downtown. We've talked about it a lot in these videos. Downtown Portland is not all that interesting. Downtown Portland doesn't really have, you know, all of the stuff that Portland is known for, and it has some of it. And there's definitely some reasons to get downtown and, you know, go out and enjoy what downtown specifically has to offer. But, you know, if you were to go out and hang out in an area like Hawthorne, like where I am right now, you would only be getting a sliver of what Portland has to offer. So everything is kind of spread out. I mean, it does keep it interesting. It does give you opportunity to get out and explore different neighborhoods, but it's not like you can just go to one centralized area, and the downtown is definitely lacking. All right, lastly, another great thing about Portland, Oregon is that if you're thinking about moving here and you end up moving here, you're probably going to fit in pretty well. Portland, like we had talked about, is a pretty welcoming and pretty accepting place, really, to all people. However, I would say if you are thinking about moving to Portland, you are probably envisioning a particular type of culture, a particular type of lifestyle and activities and things that you would engage in on a regular basis. You know, that might not be as widely accepted or, you know, as persistent in other parts of the country or other cities in the country necessarily. You know, Portland kind of has this reputation of having a lot of alternative lifestyles. I think, you know, if you look back like 30 years, it's like kind of a grungy type city, and then, you know, also kind of a hipster thing that has persisted over the years, but that's kind of been co-opted by people. I mean, look at myself. I got the little mustache. I got a flannel underneath here, but, you know, I'm just your run-of-the-mill dude. So I think the hipster culture is a big part of kind of the whole Portland thing, but there's also, you know, the outdoors. I mean, you walk around, everybody looks like they could, you know, drop everything and go on a hike at any minute. I think there's definitely like kind of a tech bro component, you know, in particular in the last 10 or 15 years, as far as how Portland has evolved and changed over time. But I think overall, Portland really has kind of a monoculture more than anything. Again, pretty open-minded place. I think you'll get people from all walks of life who have all types of different interests, but there are things that, again, are more pervasive or are more persistent as far as the culture goes. Again, whether it is kind of the outdoor stuff or kind of the hipster stuff and, you know, drinking PBR and, you know, biking everywhere and or seeking out vegan restaurants or, you know, whatever it may be. I mean, all of these things are stereotypes. There's, you know, sometimes or oftentimes, you know, some sliver of truth to different stereotypes. So, you know, a lot of the stereotypes you hear about Portland are, you know, for sure there. But Portland has changed a lot, you know, and as Portland is continuing to evolve and change very rapidly. I would say today it's kind of like Denver meets Austin, you know, with our own twist on a lot of things. But, you know, we're not very much like Seattle, in my opinion. We're not very much like San Francisco, in my opinion. I mean, I think there is kind of a unique culture and lifestyle here, at least in Portland proper. When you talk about the city, when you get out to the suburbs, you do get some kind of Portland-esque attributes, you know, but out in the suburbs, it's going to be more like, you know, much more vanilla, you know, less culture, you know, kind of overall. But no, there is definitely a noticeable difference being in Portland proper, in particular on the east side, in a lot of these southeast, northeast Portland neighborhoods, you know, compared to like in the suburbs on the west side or, you know, out in like Happy Valley or Oregon City, for example. But either way, Portland, I think to some degree at least, really does kind of just have one overarching culture, and you know, it's really not all that diverse like when you start to boil it down. So, you know, on one hand it lacks diversity, you know, in a lot of ways, but on the other hand, again, if you're thinking about moving to Portland, you're probably going to fit right in. And if you are thinking about moving to Portland, and if you want to talk more about what it's like living in Portland, what it's like spending time in Portland, going out in Portland, what it's like living in the Portland metro area, what the differences are living, you know, on the west side, east side, whatever it may be, if you want to talk more about any of those things, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email, or click the link down below in the description of the video. Schedule a Zoom call with us and we can dig into all of that. Now, if this video was helpful, make sure to hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. If you want to get more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and tap the little bell to get notified every time we drop a new video. As always, we really appreciate you watching, and until next time, we'll talk to you later.